Hello and welcome back to Read Becca. We're yet again at the beginning of another month and it kind of snuck up on me. I was not prepared to do a TBR. And this month again seems to be overfull with readathons and different buddy reads that are going on. So my TBR, I tried to really keep it pared down and ended up with only 5 books. But once you see, my pile is quite high. These are very chunky books. So let's get it right into it with the fact that I picked 2 readathons to participate in. I wanted to do all of them, of course, but we're gonna keep it limited. I picked one I have not participated in before, but I wanted to for years, and another one that I have participated in every year for several years, even before I was on BookTube. So let's jump into the stack. My number one is one from last month that I didn't get into, and that is King Rat by James Clavell. And this is historical fiction. It's all about World War II, a clash of cultures between the East and West. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I just didn't have time to get it started. I had a little bit of a slump there in the month and missed about what would have normally been maybe 300 pages worth of reading and finishing a whole other book, and I just didn't. So that's going to be first priority for the month. The next one is on my project to read booktubers favorites from 2021. I have Each of Us a Desert by Mark Oshiro, and I think he wrote Anger is a Gift more popularly, I think. This one I believe is his latest. He has a new one either coming out soon or maybe has just come out, but this one is a fairly recent release as well. And this is Latinx. It follows 2 women on a journey through the desert, lots of magic and magical realism, so it sounds like exactly my vibes. I don't want to know too terribly much about the plot because I know, as I said, this was picked from my booktubers favorites list from Angela at Literature Science Alliance, and that's all you need to know is that she loved it really to pick this one out. It sounded like kind of different from everything else that is like standard sci-fi and fantasy. So really cool stuff that's on my radar. Sorry, cinnamon is shaking off. Then my first pick for a readathon, we have Translateathon coming up in the last 2 weeks of May. So this will be the end of the month. And it is Veda Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko and translated by Julia Maitov-Percy. This has been on my radar and a lot of people have told me I'm going to love it. It is by 2 Ukrainian authors writing in Russian, so that's obviously relevant and timely. We have a dark academia story, I think, and it's very, very dark. This is not the kind of thing where you're going to, can you see? Coco is sneaking into the food behind me. It's not the kind of thing where you're going to understand magic systems or really fully understand what's going on like as a linear narrative. I think it's very surreal. If I recall, the character here, she is kind of just almost abducted and forced to go to this school and under threat basically of people she cares about being hurt. So kind of, like I said, very, very dark. So weird, strange, wonderful. I'm so into it. So that's gonna be a fun one for my Translateathon, readathon, and I'll link all the readathon stuff down below. Translateathon is run by Rhea from the Bookfinch every year, and as I said, I've had a great time with it. The other one is the readathon I have not done before. I have seen Rick McDonnell talk about maybe Midrash every year, and I always enjoy his picks for it, and kind of the inspiration is Midrash, as I understand it, is sort of artistic depiction or expression of sacred texts, and so that doesn't necessarily have to be like Christian or Catholic, it can be any religion. And this is meant to take and pair a nonfiction with a focus on religion and a fiction with a focus on religion. So I have 2 books for that. And the first one, I'm gonna show what a nerd I am. I have been seeing this book in my library in the new releases shelf since it came out last fall. And every time I saw it, I was like, I really want to read that. But I always have been too overbooked when it's there. And it disappeared for a couple months. And it just returned and it was there when I went back, and I was like, okay, this is a sign I have to pick it up and do maybe Midrash. So that is the gilded page because I am a huge nerd and I love illustrated manuscripts. This is by Mary Wellesley, and the subtitle is The Secret Lives of Medieval Manuscripts. So I don't really need to know anything about it other than it's going to be about illuminated manuscripts. I'm super excited to learn more about them. As you can see, these are like super duper gorgeous illustrations here, or photos, I guess. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a nerd. It's very exciting. So that's my nonfiction. And then my fiction, I told you it was going to be a very page-long TBR. I have from my bucket list, Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. And this is nearly 1,000 pages, I think. It's a very long, chunky one. As I said, this was on my bucket list book tag from last year, and people voted for it and told me it was fantastic, so it had better be fantastic. I think this one is all about the building of a cathedral, but it's much more about the inner workings of the monastery, I think, and the builder behind it. And I think there are a drama surrounding the turnover of kings at the time. But yeah, I think this is going to be much more interpersonal conflicts and politics within the individual church that this is happening. So I think that'll be really, really fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is a lot of people's like favorite or one of their favorite books. So I'm hoping I love it as much as many, many people do. Everyone just raves about it. So that very lengthy TBR is my TBR for May. As you can see, it's quite a stack, even though it's only 5 books. I'm not too overly worried about getting through everything. I mean, particularly Pillars of the Earth. That one, I would be happy if I get halfway through it. We'll see. But jumping into June, I expect to be back in for the next round of the BookTube prize. So really my goal is to get most of the way through all of these, and if I have some carryover, that's totally fine, because I don't think I will have a TBR for June, since I'll have a lot of possibly assigned reading for BookTube prize. So I'm very excited for this, though. It's going to be a great time. I'm really excited about the 2 readathons that I picked out. So what readathons are you all participating in? Are you guys doing either of these 2 readathons that I'm planning on? And I'm hoping May is going to be a better reading month for me. Even though I read a lot in April, it was a little slumpy. So we're gonna pick up the momentum with these books, I think. Thank you all so very much for watching.